The St. Louis Blues have come to terms with Jordan Binnington on a long-term contract. In this video, we're going to discuss the terms of the contract and give you my thoughts coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. We have some breaking news from the NHL. The St. Louis Blues have just announced that they've come to a long-term contract agreement with starting goaltender Jordan Binnington. They've signed him to his 6-year contract worth $6 million per season for a total of $36 million. So obviously Jordan Binnington has been their main guy since he came onto the scene a few years ago, took the starting job from Jake Allen and helped carry the team all the way to the first ever Stanley Cup championship in franchise history. Now, of course, he had one heck of a remarkable run. His regular season stats were remarkable with a goals against average under 2, save percentage well over .920, and certainly had a tremendous playoff. Now, he had a few bad games in the playoffs that year, but his ability to bounce back and come back better and stronger the next night after having a not-so-great start was remarkable and was a big part of their Cup championship victory there. But this contract, to be completely honest, I do have some concerns. I mean, Binnington's a good goaltender, don't get me wrong. I do like him. He's very competitive. He's got a very fiery spirit. We saw him the last time he got pulled. I think it was the last time he got pulled anyways, not that long ago, against the San Jose Sharks, basically go and challenge the bench, and he's willing to get out there and just brawl and do what he's got to do and fight for victory. Good team guy, seems to be well liked, well respected. And obviously Doug Armstrong sees him as being his guy. He's coming off a 2-year contract extension, making $4.4 million that he signed after winning the Stanley Cup. Of course, we know they had to move on from Jake Allen mostly due to money concerns, obviously with salary cap constraints. So obviously Binnington is even more of the guy on his own with less experienced backup this year, mostly with Ville Husso. And Binnington's a good goalie, like I said, but it's a lot of money and a lot of term, and I have concerns that it's going to end up possibly like a guy like Matt Murray, winning a Stanley Cup so early in his career, and sometimes it's hard to duplicate that. And for some guys like Murray, it just seems like it's all downhill. Now, if you take a look at Matt Murray in Pittsburgh, he won back-to-back cups his first 2 years in the league, and then he slowly started regressing for the next 2 to 3 years in Pittsburgh. But then he goes on and he gets a contract with Ottawa after being traded, and he gets a pretty lucrative longer-term deal, not quite as much as this, but not too far off. And, look what he's done in Ottawa this year. He's had some good starts, but he's had more bad starts than good starts. And I understand the team in front of him is not as good. Maybe not be the perfect comparable, but he's certainly getting paid based on what he did before, not what he's going to do in the future. And it's certainly a questionable contract for the Senators. Thankfully, as a team, they're not too tight to the cap. They don't really have those issues, but still, nobody wants a bad contract on their team, no matter what their situation is. As long as their young players graduate out of their ELCs and need to get paid, that could be more problematic in a few years' time. And the same thing could be said for Binnington. I mean, $6 million is a lot of money. If you look at his stats since the Cup year, like I said, in the Cup year in the regular season games he played, it was .927 save percentage. Well, then the year after, he dipped down to a .912, and then this year he's running a .908. If you take a look at his goals against average, he was 1.89 during the regular season games going to the Stanley Cup. Then he went up to 2.56, and now he's on pace again to go higher at 2.69. So the stats are not getting any better. They're getting worse each year, even though it's not a drastic drop. If you think about it, if that were to continue, that could be problematic in a couple of years' time. Like, they may not mind the contract for the first year or two, but he's also a more mature, older goaltender. Like, he peaked at an older age. Like, he's not your younger guys like you're seeing, like a Carter Hart jump into the NHL at an early age. 27 years old. He'll be 28 when next season starts. So when the next contract kicks in here for 6 years, that'll take him to 34, 35 years old, which could be the beginning of the end of his career, depending on how that contract goes. Of course, that's assuming he can play through it and still keep up some good stats. So like I said, he's a good goalie. They got their guy for a long term. They also want to sign Jaden Schwartz, so this is going to eat up a lot of cap space to kind of go towards that. I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep Mike Mike Hoffman beyond the current season, that's going to be a challenge. You get Vince Dunn to look after in the offseason as well, or move him or do something. So we're going to have to see what else Doug Armstrong's got up his sleeve here. But, obviously nice to have your starting goaltender locked up long term. He would have been an unrestricted free agent this summer. Could have went anywheres. They could have lost him, and that would have been, it would have been bad. They certainly would have been worse off than not done having him. But, it's a lot of money. I just have concerns that he could regress enough that it might not be too favorable in a couple of years' time. But let me know your thoughts on the contract. Hopefully it works out for Binnington and the Blues. They've got their guy, 6x6. Give me your thoughts and we'll discuss further in the comments. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.